Okay, hi there. I'm Grim and I use they, them pronouns, and we are here today for another episode of Get to Know Us. And this time it's our first time that we're doing it with an organization. We're doing it with the Virginia Anti-Violence Project. And we have Jackie, who is our board chair, and we have Cliff and Kat, who both work for VAVP. I want to mention I'm also happen to be a board member and have been volunteering for VAVP probably for at least as long as I've been doing Grimalkin. And we partnered with them in different ways. And this coming Friday at Garden Grove Brewing and Urban Winery, we are having a benefit show for the Virginia Anti-Violence Project. I'll be playing as my project, Spartan Jetplex, along with Elizabeth Owens and Infinite Bliss. And we are all artists, Grimalkin Records artists. And we're really excited here today to talk with Jackie, Cliff, and Kat, and also Jackie and another staff member, Monica, will be tabling the event on Friday at Garden Grove. So you can come on by. It'll be a great opportunity for the community to learn about the really important work that they're doing. So thank you all for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So to start this off, it would be great to hear to tell us about the work that you do and the programs and services that you provide, and a brief history, about the organization.
That sounds great. And thank you again for this opportunity to share all the wonderful things that Virginia Anti-Violence Project does across the state. So we are engaged in a lot of both prevention as well as intervention direct services. And our main goal is to prevent and address violence within and against the diverse LGBTQ plus communities across Virginia. We do this in a variety of different ways through supporting survivors of abuse, direct support, advocacy, referrals, and information to the LGBTQ plus community who have been impacted by violence. We also provide training and awareness resources to community partners, education as well. And we really are working to increase just awareness across the state about violence in the LGBTQ community. We're really working towards creating a world that is free from all forms of violence, including homophobia, biphobia, transphobia, heterosexism, racism, classism, sexism, anti-Semitism, ableism, ageism, hate violence, intimate partner violence, sexual violence, state-sanctioned violence, stalking, bullying, and harassment. And we do this, as I shared, in a variety of different ways. And we have Kat and Cliff who are joining us who can talk a little bit more too about the work that they do in VAVP.
Yeah. It would be great to hear from both of you. I guess, do you want to start, Cliff, and tell us a little bit about what you do for VAVP?
Yeah, I am the communications coordinator at VAVP, so I handle pretty much all things internet, the facilitation of like promotion of events, some sort of like, I guess, lower level outreach, and that I'm not directly working with clients, but a lot of those like calls for advocacy and services that you see online will come from me.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for everything you do. And Kat?
Yeah, so I'm a survivor community specialist, one of 3 at VAVP. And so it's kind of similar to like an advocate role on what you would expect from that regarding like direct services to survivors of violence. But we also do engage in some prevention work. Specifically, the one that comes up first is our Queer Healthy Love class that we offer to the community, as well as we offer some trainings for mainstream organizations in like responding to LGBTQ plus survivors of violence. So yeah, lots of different hats being worn, but that's my role.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know last year we we have a compilation out in benefit of you all in your Queer Healthy Love campaign. And if folks want to pick up some cool music and also donate, please do that. But donate directly to VAVP, of course. Yeah, how did you all personally get involved in VAVP in this kind of work? Is this like first time involved in this type of work, or yeah, what was the progression and how did you learn about the work and all that?
So I can start us off, and similar to what you were sharing, Grim, about, being involved with a board and being involved as a volunteer. So I started volunteering with Virginia Anti-Violence Project in 2016, working on a number of different committees and different projects. Something that really appealed to me, in my professional world and my work, I do a lot of work teaching people how to make services more accessible for people with disabilities who are being abused. So the mission of VAVP really struck me. Also, VAVP has always been very intentional about directly involving the community in our work. I think that's something that's really important and makes our services what they are, because we have people who are in the community doing the work. So yeah, I think it's been great over the years to be involved with VAVP, and look forward to continuing to be involved.
Yeah, awesome. How about you, Claire?
Yeah, so I'm something of a new hire at VAVP as I came on right out of college a few months ago. And
Congratulations.
thank you. And while it's not my first time doing nonprofit work, I think I really enjoy the work that VAVP does because it works within communities that mean a lot to me personally. And so when I was looking for work, I wanted something that made me feel good and like I was giving back, and I found my way to VAVP.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, how about you?
Yeah, so I came on around March of 2021. And I had a friend working here told me about it. And I really felt like the position aligned with my values, and it was a place where I felt like I could exist as my most authentic self while doing something closer to more grassroots work than I was doing at the time. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's really awesome. It's really important to be able to have a job where you can be your most authentic self. I feel like that never has happened for me at all until I started doing Grimalkin full-time work. I always kind of had to shield and hide a bit about who I was, just feel safe or comfortable to exist. So that's awesome. Yeah, and how does the VAVP fulfill a need locally? But then I know that we also do work within all of Virginia too, especially for queer and trans folks in the LGBTQ plus community.
I can answer that. So we definitely do provide a lot of services locally in Richmond. A lot of stuff is people come to us. It's very often word of mouth. So by nature, a lot of folks are in Richmond. At the same time, since 2008, VAVP has been the only culturally specific organization working statewide to serve LGBTQ plus survivors of violence, with a specific focus on Black, Latinx, and other people of color. So according to a 2019 Williams Institute report, poverty rates in Virginia are higher for LGBTQ plus people than for cisgender non-LGBT plus people, transgender people than cisgender people, LGBT plus people of color than white LGBT plus people, rural LGBT plus people than urban LGBT plus people. So poverty is a huge barrier in folks receiving services, and from wanting to remove themselves from abusive situations or relationships. So we fulfill a really distinct need by specifically targeting LGBTQ plus people and living in Virginia who are seeking affirmative services after experiencing violence.
Yes, awesome. Very good. And are there any other like organizations or mutual aid organizations that you all partner with? Yeah, that help with providing the services, or that you maybe get referrals from?
So we work closely with a lot of different organizations. I can name a few. We actually share office space with Nations Foundation, who we work very closely with since there's a lot of overlap. The Virginia Sexual and Domestic Action Alliance, who is really involved in our hotline and some other things. Latinos in Virginia Empowerment Center, which we partnered with for interpretation services. The Healing Hub, RVA, we just had an event there recently. Grimalkin Records, of course. Yeah, also Health Brigade, Side by Side, Diversity Richmond, so many more. So
yes, all those are really, really great organizations. Yeah, and I guess, are there others that you wanted to shout out or mention, just that you know that maybe aren't necessarily, within the field of work that VAVP is doing, that you feel strongly that other folks should know about? And it's okay if you don't. I figure I'd give you all an opportunity to maybe mention other organizations that you may know of that you want to shout out.
I would just want to shout out, I feel like a lot of clients seeking services have not heard of the Transgender Assistance Program of Virginia, and they're really great. So they are like, I think it's a very small organization, which is good of that. So, but I would just say that's a great organization.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're in Virginia Beach or Norfolk. I think that's where they're based. I don't know. Yeah, all right, awesome. So yeah, so what are some of the future goals of VAVP that you're hoping to achieve in the near future or far future, or things like that?
Yeah, I can handle this one. Of course, we have like so many goals, so many things that we want to accomplish, like coming up and far away. But I mean, when you really distill it down, I think one of the things we really want to do is just keep finding ways to give back to the community and provide the services and do the advocacy work that's really needed.
Yeah.
I think we'd also probably want to find some more sustainable funding to allow us to keep doing what it is we do. Yeah, we want to keep serving survivors in the ways that they need to, rather than with what funders think that they need or what they needed when proposals were written. We want to just be able to like remain dynamic and providing the services that people need.
Yes. Yeah. Funding is always an issue. So I would say, anyone who's listening and they have the means, I think like just grassroots, support, individual support from folks who have means is super important. And, although when you're a nonprofit, you can apply for funding and grants, as we've just become a nonprofit ourselves, a lot of that stuff is, it's restrictive. Also extremely time consuming and expensive if you need to hire someone to help you help you write a grant. It's ridiculous. And it can just become another burden where you have to take so much time, not just write it, but then report on everything. So it's really, I know the reason that we've gotten as far as we've gotten is from grassroots support. So I'm sure that is something that you all share, or that you're hoping that just more folks just support the organization. So please donate. So part of what Grimalkin's trying to do is kind of change some of the systems and structures, or kind of be outside of those systems and structures to like provide supports that the music industry, music business isn't doing. And I'm sure that's a lot. I'm sure that aligns with what you all are doing too, in terms of like systems and structures too within health and advocacy work that you do. can be really difficult. And I guess I would be interested in hearing either recommendations you would have for changes within the health systems or mental health systems, or any of those structures or systems that you feel really important to have changed or could be changed for the better, so that you all would be able to do your work more effectively and efficiently. Yeah, anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, so I mean, definitely a big thing for us is like building opportunities for sustainable, responsive, dynamic services. Like we just talked about with grants, they come in like 1 year kind of measurements, and it makes it a little challenging to kind of sustain the work and measure the change and impact of the services over time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing is that, in like this kind of field, there's a culture of martyrdom and glorifying this tireless work. A big hope for the future is that in the nonprofit industry, especially with grant funders, they begin to encourage sustainable and balanced lives for the people that work in the field, especially with organizations like ours, where staff members are already at multiple of marginalization as it is.
Yeah, I hear that. I will say, do you clap for that? Yes, there definitely is this idea that people should work to like tirelessly and be underpaid and all that, just for the glory of helping other folks, when it's like, no, we deserve to earn a living wage and be able to support us while doing it. So yeah, I definitely want to see that completely change within like the nonprofit sector. But that's like a beast, I think. But I think more people are talking about it, at least. So that's a little step in the right, right direction. I do think there are some foundations and perhaps folks who probably not in the government sector, grant sector, but I do think some folks within the foundation sector that are realizing too that they have to put more trust, I think, in the folks that they're giving the money to, that they know how to use it the best way, as opposed to putting all these like guidelines or restrictions, but definitely not enough. Yeah, I want to see that change too. So how can individuals help you all? How can we support your work? How can Grimalkin or other organizations, or just just people in general support VAVP?
So I will take this one. One, I think, is just through, doing events like this. We really appreciate, being able to partner with Grimalkin Records and organizations that have similar missions and values. I think that's really important. And helping each other spread the word about the work that we're doing. VAVP is always looking for volunteers, as we've kind of talked about during this interview. 2 of the board members have started off, just volunteering with VAVP. Again, being super passionate about the mission. I would definitely say find ways to get engaged, find ways to, lift the voices and include the voices of those who you're serving in the work that you're doing. And and all those different kind of capacities. I think it's a way that we can kind of chip away and flip the narrative, flip the script of how things have been done, and make meaningful systems change.
Yeah, that's awesome. So here at Grimalkin, we believe that music is a vehicle for positive changes that we want to see, and it's a way to document our stories, our experiences, and our history. And I wanted to end by hearing like some parting words of wisdom or advice or hopes that you all have for the future. It doesn't have to necessarily be for VAVP. It could just be more general, anything like that you wanted to share with us.
So I can take this one, and Kat and Cliff too, feel free to jump in. Again, we're super grateful, for the opportunity to partner with Grimalkin Records and, to spread the word about the work that VAVP does in the community. I think finding ways that we can kind of continue those partnerships in the future and build upon them, and thinking, I know Grim, you and I have talked a little bit about finding ways that we can have, music more intentionally involved in our services and the things that we're doing too. So I think there's a lot of creative partnerships and potential there. So yeah, I can't think of any big words of wisdom or advice, but I do think that the work that VAVP does really truly does make an impact on the community that we're serving, and also makes an impact when we go out and do trainings for mainstream organizations and kind of helping them increase their awareness and connections to the community.
Yeah, that's great. Is there anything else that you all wanted to share, Pat and Cliff? Anything? No worries if not. No pressures.
I mean, I suppose the big thing is still just the benefit show Friday. And,
Yeah.
if you can't make it, there's still plenty of ways to support us, and we're still around. You can follow us on Instagram at Virginia AVP, same thing on Twitter. There you can find our website with our link tree with links to the services we provide, a couple of different platforms that we have, our blog, our storytelling project.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so again, you can follow Virginia Anti-Violence Project at Virginia AVP.
Yes.
Twitter and Instagram, and of course, it's Virginia Anti-Violence Project on Facebook too.
Mm-hmm.
And we are Grimalkin Records is hosting a benefit show this Friday, October 21st at Garden Grove Brewing and Urban Winery. It's on Cary Street. We have information. It's on our calendar. If you go to our website at grimalkinrecords.com, you can find the full address. I should have looked it up before this, the actual full address, but there's the address there. It's a free show, and it's a Spartan Jetplex, which is my music project, and Elizabeth Owens and Infinite Bliss, and all of us make different kinds of music. So it's kind of like a mixed bag that you'll get as far as music, and we'll be playing, and Jackie, and I think you said Monica, did I remember the name? Will be tabling the event and talking at the event, and you'll have an opportunity to ask them questions and learn about us. Garden Grove is donating 15% of the bar tab to that will all be going to the Virginia Anti-Violence Project, and then of course we'll be collecting donations. You can donate to them directly on their website, which I believe is also Virginia. Is it also Virginia AVP.com, or is it all written out? Like I don't remember myself.
It's virginiaavp.org.
Okay, cool. I will make sure I put all these links though in the description on the video, so everyone will be able to get that. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to Friday. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.